So in this video I am going to discuss what ribosomes are, the functions of ribosomes, and the components of ribosomes. So essentially what ribosomes are is ribosomes are made up of rRNA and protein. So essentially what rRNA is, there's three types of RNA: mRNA, rRNA, and tRNA, and we'll get into all of that later on more specifically. And so what what a ribosome kind of looks like is, imagine a hamburger bun. It's made up of two parts, essentially a top and a bottom. And then in the middle there are three spaces, and they correspond to the nucleotides of mRNA. And what mRNA is, just to recap from the last video, is essentially a copy of your DNA, but the mRNA can leave the cell and leave the nucleus and go into the ribosomes. And so imagine that there is a string of mRNA right in the middle. And so essentially when the mRNA passes through the hamburger bun, it kind of goes through in a direction kind of like that. So imagine this whole thing is passing through. The RNA, the ribosomes assemble a protein, and it makes a chain of amino acids that comes from up here, and it just makes a chain of amino acids corresponding to the code on the mRNA. And I forgot to mention, it begins with the start. There's a section on the mRNA called the start codon, and a codon is essentially a group of three nucleotides and the nucleotides are guanine, cytosine, adenine, and then uracil in RNA, and cytosine. So those are the five nucleotides, and thymine. And eventually, and the start codon is always AUG. And then eventually it'll reach a stop codon, and the sequence of amino acids essentially just breaks off. So this whole chain right here just breaks off and then folds into a protein. Now ribosomes are, now I'll discuss the location of ribosomes. Erase this. So ribosomes are located either on the rough ER, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or they're floating in the cytoplasm. And so imagine this is a poor drawing of a cell. Imagine these kind of folds here are the rough ER. The green is ribosomes. They're kind of studded onto the rough ER. And then there are more floating in the cell, in the cytoplasm. And obviously I didn't draw a lot of organelles, such as the nucleus. We'll pretend that orange thing is a nucleus, and like the mitochondria and all of that stuff. But you get the point. And finally, one thing I forgot to mention, it was covered in the last video, ribosomes are made or the parts, like the two hamburger bun parts, are made in the nucleolus.